Hi, fall is here and we're making apple dumplings that only take 15 minutes prep time. Let's get started. Hi, it's Barbara Mangini from Comatta's Cucina, Godmother's Kitchen. And today we're going to think fall. But first, my apron from my collection, carrying on a few flowers and polka dots today. Anyway, when I think of fall, the first thing I think about is apples and my mother's apple dumplings. Now, they would take me a long time to make. Get the dough just right and make the syrup on the stove. Well, I found this little shortcut if I want to make them in a hurry, if I want to make a lot of them. So I think if you've never made these before, you're really going to be surprised. So instead of listing all the ingredients, I'm just going to start. And then you'll see on the video everything that goes in them. First, I took one Granny Smith apple and I peeled it and cored it and I sliced it into 8 pieces. I also took a package of crescent rolls that has 8 in it and I rolled them out a little bit on my flour board. What we're going to do now is take the apples and put one apple on each crescent roll, just like this. I know this angle for the camera isn't the best, so I'm going to keep showing you. It'll look like that. In this bowl, I have just a little bit of cinnamon and granulated sugar. I will take that and sprinkle it over my apples. Just a pinch, so you don't have to measure or anything. Just put a little sugar out of your sugar bowl in there and a little bit of cinnamon. I love cinnamon, so I tend to pour more than I even need. We're going to be making all kinds of fall recipes, pumpkin, apple, and everything. Now I will take this and simply wrap each apple in a crescent roll and put them in a dish that has either been buttered or sprayed. I'm putting them in my dish right here. So just keep doing that very quickly. If it doesn't quite fit, just stretch the dough over it. It will stretch. And in they go. Fall always brings back wonderful memories for me. Cooking in the kitchen, all those pumpkin pies my mother would make. By the way, that little beep you might have just heard is my oven. I preheated the oven for 350 degrees. These by no means have to be perfect. Just make sure you get the dough around them. That's what it looks like, just a little bundle. Put it in there. Here comes another one. Should really start with the little pointy end first, but it doesn't matter. There's a nice little bundle. Okay, another one. We have these done in no time. That's what's so wonderful about them. And you can't believe how good these are for how easy they are. It's another one, and I bought a big Granny Smith apple, and I made sure I cored it with my little corer before I sliced it into 8 slices. You don't want any seeds in there. Do you know the seeds of an apple actually contains arsenic? It won't kill you. You would have to eat an awful lot of it for it to kill you. Okay, and there are my apple dumplings. Now I take a bowl, and in that bowl I will mix 1 stick of unsalted butter. If you don't have unsalted butter, I don't think salted hurts. I've made it with both. But if you ever have a recipe that calls for salted butter and you have unsalted butter, all you have to do is add a pinch of salt to the recipe. Also in here, I am adding 3/4 cup of granulated sugar. And in this little cup, I have 1½ tablespoons of flour and 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. and that's going in there also. Quick as could be. I will now just stir this up. See, I'm just blending in the flour. That's all I want to do. Blend it all together until I get something that looks like a dark semi-batter, but very, very thin, because it's going to be the syrup that develops after we bake them. I used to love the syrup my mother would put over the apple dumplings. It was the best part, that dough and that gooey syrup. Okay, now that we have the syrup done, I will simply pour this syrup over my apple dumplings. It's the easiest syrup you'll ever make. There we go. Get all that good syrup out of there. And it makes the house smell so good. I love the smell of the house in the fall. That's what it looks like now, but we have one more step. Believe it or not, for those of you who have not made this before, I am going to take a bottle of Sprite. This is the size bottle I have. Now it depends on your pan how much Sprite you're going to put in. So what I'm going to do is pour this Sprite not over the dumplings. We don't want to do that. We want to pour it between the dumplings, because this Sprite is going to mix with that little batter I just put in there, and it's going to make the gooey syrup for the cinnamon rolls. So I used a half a bottle of Sprite. So that's that. Wipe my hands. Give you a close-up shot of these. And they're going in the oven now, and my Sprite's coming out. They're going in the oven now, and as soon as they are finished, I will be back to show you the finished product. For now, ciao. Hi, I just took my apple dumplings out of the oven and let them set for about a half an hour. I baked them at 350 degrees for 35 minutes, and this is what they look like. And my kitchen smells so good. It's afternoon here and getting a little darker since I put these in the oven, so let me just turn some lights on here. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is dish a couple out so you can see what they look like. These remind me so much of my falls as a kid. I live on an inlet now in the south, so it's still summer here, of course, but it is the beginning of September, and I think of all my falls in Little Vandergrift, Pennsylvania, where I'm from, and how the leaves would rustle under your feet when you walked, and the colors in the trees were so gorgeous. And when I smell these apple dumplings, that's what I think of. So I've dished them on the plate, and now I'm going to put some syrup on these. When I was putting these in the oven, you probably heard my phone ring. It was my sister. We talk twice a day, every morning and every evening. You might say, what could you talk about twice a day? Food, of course. My sister loves to cook, and we discuss recipes. She cooks a big dinner for her family every night. Now, you can't have apple dumplings without either whipped cream or ice cream. So here we go. Let's put a generous glob of whipped cream on there, and we'll add a little dessert fork. And oh my goodness, would your family or company be impressed with that? Now I have to taste it. It's so gooey and yet so good. And the apples are just the right texture. They're not soggy, but they're not hard either. Oh my goodness. That cinnamon, they're not too sweet. They're just perfect, so perfect that you have to eat more than one. Anyway, that's our fall dessert for today. Please keep watching because we will be doing a lot more. So think fall, and until next time, enjoy your apple dumplings. Ciao.